The Minnesota Wild and the Chicago Blackhawks started their second-round series of the 2015 Stanley Cup playoffs last night, and they certainly did it in a thrilling style, with the Blackhawks winning 4-3 in the last minute of the second period. One of SBR's elite hockey analysts, Dave Golikoff, joins me now to break down his predictions for Game 2 tomorrow night. And I'm a little concerned for this Wild team, Dave, because Devan Dubnyk looked tired in this past game. He's given up at least 4 goals in 2 of his past 4 starts. The Wild really need to give him a break, but they just can't afford to do so. So do you think this will become a major issue in this series for the Wild, Dave?
So I think it was more that he was a bit rusty. I mean, the Wild are a team that's been, on a roll for a little while now, last couple of months, playing every other night. Now all of a sudden they get a big break in between series, and seems like they lost their mojo a little bit. They were clearly flat in the first period. They seemed to get their skates back under them in the second period. And as you mentioned, Dubnyk had an uncharacteristic performance. Especially the game-winning goal. Rister from the boards was, he normally doesn't let stuff like that in. He had one bad game in the first round against the Blues, where he got pulled, and he ended up bouncing back right away. I think that's what we see here in game number 2.
All right, now, Dave, the Blackhawks are also coming off a very hard-fought and probably the most exciting series of the first round. And now I think we could say that they just might be in the toughest, most exciting second-round series as well. Could the Blackhawks be wearing down as well going into Game 2, Dave?
I don't think they're wearing down. I actually think they're getting stronger, especially their offense. But my concern is the goaltending. Is Corey Crawford ends up giving up 3 goals, and Chicago is giving up a lot of goals, and they're really being forced to outscore their opponents. And I don't think that's going to work all the way through to the Stanley Cup final. It might work in this round. It worked in round 1. But if Minnesota starts playing better in net, I think that's going to be a big difference. Chicago up 3-0. If they're the Stanley Cup contender everyone thinks they should be, then how come they're blowing a 3-0 lead at home? That's very disappointing. They really had to dig themselves out of a hole after blowing that. And I'm surprised to see that. But I think Minnesota's going to continue to score in this series, starting with Game 2. And I think that Chicago's going to have a much tougher time with Devan Dubnyk.
All right, now, Dave, you said that Chicago is perfectly capable of winning the Stanley Cup this season, but I think the Wild are extremely capable of that as well. I could definitely see the series going to 7, but what about Game 2, Dave? Who do you foresee taking the win tomorrow night?
It's the same strategy as it was before Game 1, and that is bet the Wild in the first 2 games. I think this series still heads back to Minnesota tied 1-1, and I know we lost the first one. Sometimes it gets a little nervous betting Game 2, but I'm going to be betting the Wild as a dog in Game number 2. I think this series will look very different in Game number 2, and after Game number 2, I think the Wild come with a much better effort from the first period. I think the game's going to be lower scoring and more conservative as they dictate the pace. And I think Dubnyk plays better, and I think this series will be evened up after Game 2.
All right, Dave, I could not agree with you more there. All right, once again, everybody, Dave Golikoff with your free selections for Game 2 of the second-round series between the Minnesota Wild and the Chicago Blackhawks. Let us know what you think of the game, the series overall. Give us your picks, your opinions, your comments. We want to know what you think. Just comment below this video for a possible feature on the next show. And keep it locked right here with us as we are bringing you more exciting tips and free plays all day long, only here on Sportsbook Review.